Good morning, class 8. Welcome you to social study lesson. This is one of the revision lessons in class 5. Now today we want to look at some political organizations which were formed in Kenya since 1963. The other time we looked at the Young Kikuyu Association, whereby we looked at Young Kikuyu Association, the founders, where and when it was formed. Now today, we want us to look at the East Africa Association. But remember, we say Young Kikuyu Association was formed together with East Africa Association in the same year. They were formed in the same year. Now, the East Africa Association was formed in July 1921. It was formed in July in 1921. This association was formed by Young Kikuyu Association. There were young agitated men who wanted change in political leadership. So these are the people who agitated for the change of this. Now, Young Kikuyu Association was formed by Tuku, and Tuku was their chairperson. The meaning of chairperson is just their leader. So their leader was called Tuku. Now, we have other members. We have members who participated in formation of the East Africa Association. These members are, we have I.M. Ismail. The I.M. Ismail, this gentleman was a man from Northeastern, representing the Northeastern region. We also have somebody called Ole Sampele. The Ole Sampele was a gentleman from Rift Valley in the size of Narok. Then we have K. Sentego. K. Sentego was also a gentleman who was representing, who was a member of East Africa Association. We also have Kibwana Kombo. Kibwana Kombo was also one of the members. We also have Abdallah Tairara, Jesse Karaoke, and Joseph Kanete. All these ones were founder members of East Africa Association, which was formed in which year? 1921. Now, these people were under the leadership of Tuku. Now, what were some of the reasons why East Africa Association was formed? Now, what we discussed the other time, when we were in class 5, we said that the reasons which led this association to be formed, they are almost the same. They are more or less the same. Now, the first one, let's discuss each and every one. The first one was reason for this formation. Now, you are aware that Kenya remains a British protectorate and not a colony up to 1920. Now, these people wanted a representation in the LegCo. Now, what is LegCo? LegCo means Legislative Council. LegCo was like Parliament. So Africans also wanted to be represented in where? In the Legislative Council to be the members. So they wanted representation in the LegCo. Because you realize by 1921, when the East Africa Association was being formed, there were very few Africans who were being represented in the LegCo. So they wanted representation in the LegCo. Now, Number two, they wanted what is called abolition of the heart tax. Can you say the abolition of the heart tax? Now, what is heart tax in the simple? Heart tax is the money you are expected to pay for the colonial government. You will realize that Africans were expected to work in the European farms. Once they worked in the European farms, they were being paid low wages. And that low wages, they again used it in paying of the heart tax. So this one, this association wanted the abolition of the heart tax, the money which were being paid to the colonial government. Another thing that these people wanted, they were advocating, is the provision of better education. Now, Africans realized that education was a tool that was to be used in fighting on colonial government. Now, they wanted also Western what? They wanted also Western education. Do you understand? Yeah, these people also wanted Western education. These ones, they have got the Western education. They will use the Western education to fight for the colonial government. Another one, the reason which led for formation of East African Association is end of forced labor. Now, what's the forced labor? What's the forced labor? Now, you are aware that Africans were subjected to forced labor. You are expected to work from morning to evening, and with a low what? With a low pay. So there was a forced labor. You are aware that Africans were expected even to work in the European farms. Those colonial governments were growing cash crops. So they were expecting you to work on their farms from morning to evening with a low pay. So the end of forced labor. They were also advocating for the wage increase for Africans. Now, to Africans who are working in their farm, who are being paid peanuts. They are being paid less money as compared to other European. Now, Africans were expecting to the wages, amount of money that were being paid, to be increased. Then you are also aware that Africans, there was a compulsory sale of African cattle to be abolished. Now, there were Africans who were practicing pastoralism. Majority of them, like if you look at the Q shades, majority of the Q shades, the Maasais, majorly they were practicing, but they were pastoralists. So you find the colonial government were taking their what? Their cattle by force. Now, what they do? They formed the association to do what? To fight such these injustices. Now, another thing that they also wanted abolition of Kipande system. We discussed Kipande system when we were doing Young Kikuyu Association. Kipande system was a document that you were supposed to work with wherever you go. You work with it wherever you go, and you put it on your neck. It was just as an identification. That one to confirm whether you are a Kenyan or not. So those are some of the reasons that led to formation of East African Association. Now, this association played a very vital role in independence. They play a very vital role in fighting for independence. This association played a very vital role in fighting for independence. Remember, the association was formed in 1921, and Kenya later became independent in 1963. So look at very many years, from 1921 to 1963. That one is almost 40 years when this association was fighting. Now, what are some of the things? One, they represented African grievances. What are grievances, class? Now, grievances are complaints. Very simple term. These are complaints. The complaints which Africans had, it is this association which presented. So they represented African grievances to the colonial government. Very good. Now, another thing that they organized rallies to promote African unity. What were these rallies? Now they organized political rallies to mobilize Africans towards a common goal, towards achieving of what? Independence. So they organized rallies to promote African unity. Now, what were they doing in these rallies? In these rallies, they were mobilizing Africans. They are enlightening the Africans about the colonial government. They were telling Africans how colonial government are mistreating them. Now they were also educating Africans on their rights. So they organized rallies to promote Africans' unity so that Africans can be together. As you are aware that if you are in unity, it is very difficult to be defeated by the enemy. Another very, very vital role that East Africa Association, which was led by Arituku, played is the organizing protest against colonial government. What is a protest? Now, protests are just in simple terms. Protests are coups. They are coups which were organized against the what? Against the colonial government. They organized coups. They organized coups to this government so that they can leave. They can leave us. Now, we also have advocated for release of Arituku. Remember, Arituku was arrested because Arituku was the chairman of this association. So they realized that for this association to fall, they must arrest these leaders who are agitating for the change. So one of the persons that they arrested was Arituku. Now, so once Arituku was arrested, these people actually what they did, they advocated for the release of Arituku. But not even the Arituku. There were some other African leaders who were arrested. People like Jomo Kenyatta, people like Bildad Kagia, people like Uchingo Neko. So these people, they also advocated the release of other political leaders who were arrested. Another very, very vital point that why this formation was negotiated the issues affecting Africans. Now there were some issues which were affecting Africans. So these people, they acted upon and negotiated with the colonial government. So these are some of the roles that East African Association played in the struggle for independence. Then reaching by 1952, when it reached 1952, now in 1952, that is where now the state of emergency was declared by Sir Bellein. Now when the state of emergency was declared, it given some light to Africans that should European now should pave way for what? For Africans to rule themselves. Now, those are the roles played by East Africa Association as far as the struggle of independence is concerned. Now, our dear candidates, if I do a recap of whatever we have learned today, we have said East Africa Association was formed in 1921 by with their chairman as Arituku. which was later arrested. Then, this association was formed by young people, young Kikuyus, by young people who were at a common goal. And we say these people were like I.M. Ismail Olesampele, Abdallah Tiarara, Kibwana Kambo, K. Santego, Joseph Ariuki, and Joseph what? Joseph Kanyete. We look at some of the reasons for its formation. What were some of the reasons why it was formed? And we say it needed some representation in the Lech court. Again, we have said they wanted the abolition of the hard tax. Again, we have said they wanted the end of the forced labor Africans, which were being subjected to work by force. They also wanted the increase of wages. By the way, wages are some money one gets after the end of the day. So they wanted increase in wages for Africa. They also fought for the compulsory sale of African cattle to be abolished. Look at this situation. You have your cattle at your home. Then somebody is coming and taking all those cattle. So this one was really depressing to Africans. So they say, no, we have to fight their rights. So that is why they want against the compulsory sale of African cattle to be abolished. Then abolition of the Kipande system. Then we look at some of the role played by EACC. East Africa Association. They represented African references. They organized rallies to promote African unity. They organized protests against colonial government. They advocated for release of Aritoko. Also, they negotiated the issues that affecting Africans. For today, candidates, our beloved candidates, I will stop from there. Let's meet next time, whereby we will going to continue with this topic, which is majorly talking about political association in class 5. Now, let me see you and have a good day.